the first study that we've done, which we're now on year 3 of this WIN study. And it's a study to basically look at the nutrients coming in the lake. So what we did is work with Dr. Sweeten and Herb on measuring the nutrients that are coming in the 4 major streams that come into the lake, and then we're measuring the outflow. So in the first year, they took 3,000 samples and did, I think, about 80,000 assays looking at nitrogen and phosphorus and sediment, so we could really figure out where our problems were. And that then led to this designation.
One of the reasons we initiated that to begin with was to be proactive. That massive amount of data that's been generated through this has enabled us to apply to the Department of Agriculture and get this designation as a priority watershed.
So this is the first lake in Indiana that's had this designation. So it's, quite an honor, I think, and it'll be great for the health of the lake.
This year, for 2022, there were 283 watersheds out of roughly 100,000 nationwide to receive this designation. And like Joan said, we are the only lake in Indiana to receive that designation.
Once you're designated as a National Water Quality Initiative, this is a very good example of how we've been able to sort of use the data, all the information we learned from WINS toward an implementation. In other words, if we know how much phosphorus and nitrogen is coming in the lake, and if it's too much, then now we have a vehicle to reduce it through this National Water Quality Initiative. And with that designation, it will bring cost share dollars from the Department of Agriculture that WACF can then work with the Department of Agriculture to distribute to willing farmers who want to participate in conservation initiatives.
What are some of the things that the farmers are doing to help with soil conservation?
Cover crops is one of the major products that farmers are using nowadays to actually reduce the nitrogen and phosphorus that's actively leaving the field. We say that once the nutrients start moving, it's too late, and that's the number one way to keep them where they're supposed to be. You can look at grass waterways, filter strips. There's numerous other practices that are applicable to Wawasee Watershed, and this funding, and it's specific funding just for Wawasee that other areas can't access, is prioritized in this area. So those will be practices that can be utilized well.
Really, the goal is to keep the nitrogen and the phosphorus in the area of where the farmers need it the most, and that is around the roots of the plants they want to grow, because that's their capital and that's where they need it. And when it moves, of course, it's going to go to the stream and then ultimately the lake. So this is just a giant step forward for WACF and the way to use the WINS data or information we have to help protect the lake and the watershed, which of course is the ultimate goal.
It is a win-win for both the folks that are shareholders, stakeholders that live on the lakes in the watershed, and also for the producers in the watershed, because it really enables them to focus on their soil health at the same time that we are focusing on clean water.
It's the beginning of a really great success story for conservation.